I've never been going to church for a long time, and I've never had a chance to really control how long we stay there. So today will be a blessing. Hopefully, my wife tells me sometimes I can get long-winded, and definitely Derek on our conference call. So I really feel like family here. You all may not know it, but the church has a golf team. Me and Derek, we've been playing on that team for about 10 plus years with Reverend Watkins golf tournament up in Montgomery. They do that every year. They do an amazing job, raising a lot of money for scholarships. I've been working with the church. Brother Lara's invited me over the years and have an amazing time. But we have some wins, I can say from the church standpoint. But I do need you all to pray for Reverend Larry's golf game. Sometimes he'll hit the ball. I need y'all to pray for me. But all jokes aside, he's been an inspiration. I've known him 20 plus years as well. And I'll be honest with you, when I come back, it's just, I don't feel right unless I see him and feel his presence. So thank you, Brother Larry. I've kind of moved and changed and kind of get adjusted to being, I guess, a professional and a CEO and the things in this world today. But at heart, as Derek mentioned, I'm still just a good old country boy from Tulsa, Alabama. So you may hear some professional language, you may hear that country boy coming out. Just bear with me. I didn't know if I was going to be nervous. Honestly, being here, I really do feel at home. So thank you for your warm welcome. So to the youth, I'm going to share a little bit to you about my story, some of the obstacles, just my path to kind of get where I am in life, and hopefully inspire some of you with some of my lessons to use those in life. One of the things that Latifah shared with you is near and dear to me is our youth. And you've heard about God being exposed to technology and different things. We actually started the Persevere Foundation about 3 or 4 years ago, which we give back to our youth that are going to colleges, helping them get acclimated with technology and or funds to make that journey easier. So Larry invited me. I was definitely excited. So going back and just putting myself in your shoes, I really said to myself, I never wanted to be a testimony for some reason. When I was younger, I guess if I saw I guess in my mind, being a testimony meant through you went through some things and it just didn't work out. So in my mind, I didn't want to be a testimony. I had this vision in my head that was a straight line. And in this straight line, I would go to high school. From there, I would go to college. I'd go to the NFL, and then I'd take care of my family. That was my straight line, my path in college. I know we're in the country and riding and coming in, I saw that there was a Crimson Tide drive. So I know we probably have some of those people in the stands today, out there in the audience today. This is not for you. I grew up on the good side of things, so for me, I wanted to get through school. I wanted to go to Auburn. Thank you, sir. Where are you? Don't y'all start. Pray for y'all and y'all new little coach and new little teams. Give us our moon. So I wanted to go there. I wanted to go to Auburn. I wanted to go to the NFL. And then again, I wanted to take care of my family. And that was my line. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. The first lesson I think I learned, this is going back to high school, and starting from a football standpoint, is when I started going to college, I started going to camps. That first lesson was put in the work. You really have to put in the work. And things just don't fall in your lap. You have ethic, and you have to be dedicated to your craft. And that's on the field, whether it's sports, and even in the classroom. You never know really. They say fall back on education, but honestly, that education leads you. So that education is important, but even with that, I had to make sure that I put in the work, and that's going to practice and going to camps, and that's working out, and whatever I need to do, I had to put in the work. That was that first lesson that I really learned when I was in high school. And luckily, I did get that phone call from Robin. I guess they didn't want me, and then that other team, I went visited, but I guess they didn't want me either. But the best school in the state of Alabama gave me a call, and I ended up at Troy University. At Troy, I guess going back to high school, I played football, baseball, track. All of those were, very, very important to me, and really controlled an important aspect of my life. Actually, in truth and honesty, it kept me closer to God. I would pray and making sure was involved with FCA. So I honestly, looking back on those days, I really appreciate those lessons and being involved with those sports. But so I get to Troy, and this is kind of when I really went through my second lesson. The second lesson that I want to point out is I got there in my freshman year. I really didn't play that much. Sophomore year, I knew I wanted to play. I got some special team time on the first year, but that second year I wanted to play. I wanted to be on the field. There was one problem. There was a senior in front of me who was just all conference, which means he was pretty good. That second lesson for me was put in the work. I said put in the work. The second lesson was don't just go through the motions. You have to be the best at what you can do. Don't sell yourself short to what's in front of you. You have to expand your mind on there's other people out there that's working just as hard. You got to work harder. We know in our community, being a black man, being a black woman, sometimes we have to work twice as hard and be better. Just to get twice as far. But I encourage you, use that as inspiration. Put in the work. Don't just show up. Don't just be a number. Be the best. Always strive to be the best at what you do. And that's what I took that to heart. And again, I know that guy was the best, but I worked to be harder. He was the number one, so that means he would get more practice. And I was the number two. Being the number two, you don't get as many reps, so you can't mess up. You need to know where you need to be, and you need to be in that position. So it was very important for me to use that to, again, not to go through the motions and be the best that I could be. So be the best safety, which was my position at the time on that team. So we go through that spring, and we're competing, and eventually things go on, and at the beginning of the year, I ended up beating them out for the position. So going back to that second lesson, don't go through the motions. Strive to be the best. No matter if you're in IT, if you're in healthcare, whatever job, whatever you're doing, whether you're in the classroom, always strive to be the standard for everything. So just going back and talking through my journey at that time, I'm on top of the world, to be honest with you. We're starting the first game of the year. We're playing Alabama A&M. I don't know if we have any A&M fans in here. I know we have ASU fans in here. But we're starting. I get my first interception. Go through the first couple games. I'm leading, or we're tied in the conference as far as interceptions. So to me, everything's right where I need to be. I'm in line with where I want to be. Later on, we play ASU, which I know Derek's alma mater. We beat them pretty bad. Sorry, Derek. But I had a good game. My family was there, scored to my first touchdown. So at this point, there's really nothing you can tell me. I'm excited. Everything that I work is now coming into fruition. The 8th game of the year, we are playing at home. The defense, and they're running an option. And what that is the quarterback runs out. If he can't run the ball, he'll pitch it to the running back. So the quarterback comes out of the pocket, I go up, I tackle it, and I couldn't feel anything. I'm just laying there on the ground. I'm trying to move. It's like I'm trying to feel my hands, but I can't feel anything. I lay on the ground for about maybe 10 minutes or so. I finally started getting a tingling sensation in my fingers, and then everything started to come back. Probably one of the scariest moments of my life, but I somehow knew God would bring me back. But we went on. They monitored me in the hospital that night. On October 31st, which is my birthday, 2000, we went. So I had to go get an MRI, and I don't know if you've had that MRI, but they put you in this tube, and sometimes it's a leg, but they have to look at my neck, so I'm looking in this tube for like take pictures of my neck for I can't remember 20-30 minutes or so. The doctor comes out, says a bunch of stuff. I don't know what he said. The only thing I remember is he says you can no longer play contact sports. So at that point, all of the workouts, everything I've done is gone. For football, actually, to tie on to that, I started playing track, or started running track. The first year I didn't run, but the second year, we're getting ready. We headed to the Florida Relays, I think it was at the time. And before we go, the coach comes and tells the track coach, he can't go because he's on medical scholarship. So sports now are just completely gone. And that my hardest lesson, but probably the most important lesson that I learned on that third one is push forward even when you don't understand God's plan. It's very important. At that moment, I could say, you know what, I'm done with school, I'm gonna go back home. But I knew God had a plan for my life. At the time, I didn't know. I didn't know what that plan was. I tell my wife, and I've told others about this, sometimes when I was there just trying to figure out things, I would go, staying on campus, I would go over to the stadium at night, and I'd go as high as I can up to the bleachers, and I, have my words with God, trying to figure out what's my plan. I don't know. We put a lot of work in to get here, and now it's all gone. So after that injury, I stayed with the team, like Derek said, coached for a little while, and eventually I figured out that coaching wasn't for me. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't for me, and took a job, like you said, in Atlanta. So those 3 lessons that I learned when you're talking about being the best at the position that you're in, and don't go through the motions, putting in the work, and then trusting in God. I honestly can say they were valuable lessons because I took those to the workforce. I got a job in IT, working. I came in, I kind of saw how everything was working with that company. And for me, it was important for me to define who I was. So I worked to be the tech, again, going back to my core, is working to be the best and the best technician for that company. So we did that. I went from a system engineer to a manager, the field manager, to the director role. Had a lot of success there, growing with that company. But in 2019, and I still remember it, of course, like it was yesterday, because my baby Avery, who just celebrated her birthday, was on the way. In February, they called me and told me, well, it actually wasn't a call. We were texting back and forth, and me and my director didn't necessarily agree on my plans. And the last thing I heard from that company after 14 years was, let's just end this now. About 5-6 later, my email stopped working. So essentially, they fired me. And I'm sitting there with I'm not gonna say no plan, but I have a baby on the way with no job. However, because of those things that I went through in life, I understood. And now, I can really stand here today and tell you my testimony. Because what I didn't understand when I was younger is that straight line is actually filled with ups and downs. One day, you're going to think you're on top of the world. And again, the next day, all of that may be gone. The most important lesson is to keep God first and to continue to push forward, as we talked about in that third lesson. So what I didn't tell you, because I didn't want you to feel sorry for getting fired, is in 2019, yes, they fired me, but on May 25th, which is a very important day for me, which is actually 525, which accompanies 525 Technologies. The first 525 was the day that I met my beautiful wife, Brittany. The next, when I say 2016, it was defining the company, and kind of God put that vision in my head is we're going to start your own company. We're going to do this yourself. So in 2016, on May 25th, we set goals, just little goals to move the company forward. And when I say that, just come up with the name, get the license, get the bank account, just little things to move things forward. So when they fired me in 2019, God had already had everything in work, and my plan was already to move into this company in April. So it was actually him telling me, okay, we're done with that. It's time to move on to the next chapter of your life. And it took years and years of my life to really figure out that plan and what God had for me. But I can truly say in that testimony, we've grown quite a bit over the years. It started with just me. When I started that May, that first, March of 2019, it was just me. We've grown that company with a team to 40 plus employees nationwide. The first account we had, and again, this was Bullock County Schools, which is the first school district we worked with. We've grown that to now we're selling technology products to school districts across the nation, from New York to California, Arizona, Utah, Texas. We're definitely proud of that accomplishment. Derek and you, John, knows, but we definitely continue to strive and grow in that area. The other part of that testimony is being able, when I say, I guess, going from being jobless, one, to growing a multi-million-dollar company. The other part is that mention was my family. We're able to bring in people that are near and dear to me and help them grow. Even with Derek and you, John, and getting them on, I can even say all of my brothers and sisters, it's four of us, we all work together. They all work together. I'm pretty sure y'all know how that is with your sisters and brothers, but it's truly a blessing to be able to grow that relationship with them and to be able to work with them daily. So I can't say that. So that's pretty much my journey, and I really want to share those lessons with you. I've been in that position before. I feel like I've been, God has guided me over the years. We started, mentioned earlier, the Persevere Foundation, and I want to leave you with this last thing. And the one thing, we lost Percy a year after I started the company. But the last voicemail he left me, he told me that good was the enemy of great. And what he meant by that is you're doing good in life, but God has other greater things for you out there. Don't be content with just being good. Strive for your greatness. So that's pretty much my time, short and sweet. Again, thank you again for the amazing program you guys did well, and I'm going to turn it back over to Pastor Ryan.